Welcome, everybody, and welcome to day one of our Scrapbooking Fun Summit, Fall 2025. Thank you all for being here. Say hi in the chat. Let us know. I still can't speak. Let us know where you're from, and are you a card maker, scrapbooker, mini album maker, journal? What is it that you love to do? Let us know that, and we are going to get going. I am Heather Cameron, one of your co-hosts, and this is Tracy over there, I hope, my co-host. And we are with Belinda today, and we are going to get into having a great chat with Belinda. But first, a little housekeeping. If you have any issues, if you're not getting an email, something's not working, please respond to us. We will get it out there. We sent out 9,000 emails today. That can sometimes hiccup. I've seen a few that for some reason didn't get sent. We were talking about this beforehand. I don't know why they didn't get sent. They just didn't get sent. So if you're having any issues, just reply to one of our emails or send it to Tracy at scrapbookingfunsummit.com. and we will set you up. We're also working through issues with VIPs or people who signed on. Often it's a typo. We found a bunch of people who just, when you were so excited to buy the VIP pass, you made a typo. And sometimes they're hard to find because we had one this morning that we're like going letter by letter, and it was .con instead of .com, but it took us like 5 minutes to see that. So sometimes it takes us a bit of time to find them. We do our best for that. So we will always look through and find out whatever's going on. It can be as simple as that. If you posted a comment in the Facebook group, or if you're waiting to get in the Facebook group, I saw somebody say, I'm waiting to get in the Facebook group, we will let people in. We're just dealing with there's always a lot of little things on the first day of a summit that we have to go through. So we are dealing with that, and then we will come back and answer any questions you have. There is a post in the Facebook group. You don't have to be in Facebook, but if you are in Facebook and you have an issue, there's a post at the top, pinned at the top. That's where I'm going to solve issues. If you post in the feed, I might not find it because the feed's going to get very busy as you guys start to share your feedback, your comments, what you've loved, what you've done. And so we're going to do that. And we've got questions already for you. So we'll come back to your questions as we go through them. I will circle back to them all. So first of all, we want to thank our sponsors, because without our sponsor, it just helps us put on a better event for you. And we have day sponsors and creative sponsors. So we're going to thank our day sponsors and one creative sponsor each day, and we always mention them. So go ahead, Tracy. Who is our day sponsor today?
Today we have Pear Blossom Press, and they make all sorts of different types of lights for your cards, for your layouts. They're adding a lot of twinkle to your project, let's say. They also have some different types of snap and slide mechanisms. So you can, put I'm picturing people tobogganing down a hill and you can make them move, you know what I mean? That just came to my head right now, okay? But they have some items that make your projects really look original. That's what I'm going to say to them. Yes.
Yes.
So.
And we also have creative sponsors. So today we're going to highlight our creative sponsor, which is Jav Sid. And Jav is in Australia, and her passion is actually to help you if you want to monetize some of your things, particularly when you're designing SVG files. So if you want to monetize, you want to make money doing it, she teaches you how to use Etsy and actually some of the copyright issues that you have to deal with, because you can't just design something in Cricut and put it out there. There is copyright and there is rules about where you design things, and she focuses on that, and she is great. So she is also our sponsor, and we love our sponsors. They really help us do things that we need to do. So we're going to switch our display a little bit here. We're going to put Belinda literally on the spot, and we're going to start asking her questions. So we're going to flip things around, and we are going to get into this. Oops. There we go. So first question, the super easiest one. Where are you in the world?
I am in Berlin right now. So we moved from South Africa nearly 7 years ago to Berlin. My husband's company relocated us. So I am in Berlin, Germany.
Beautiful. Nice. Very funky city. I have been there a long, long time ago, but it's a beautiful
awesome city.
Yes.
It's hard. With my pink hair, you'd think I'd sort of stand out, but no.
Not in Berlin.
It's normal.
I was going to say, in Berlin, that is probably somewhat normal. I went to Berlin, really aging myself here, when the wall was still up. So a very long time ago.
It's changed a lot since then.
I'm sure it has, but a beautiful city. Second question. How are you a card maker, a scrapbooker, a something else? How would you kind of define yourself in this world?
I am a crafting chameleon. I do it all. literally, it's shorter to say the things I don't do. I don't do quilling, and I don't do pergamano. That's about it.
That's excellent.
Wow.
I started as a stamper, card maker in high school. I avoided scrapbooking because I'm a photographer, and I'm like, I know if I go down that rabbit hole, that's it. And my son is 21, so 2 years before he was born, so 23 years ago, I started scrapbooking, and I haven't stopped. And I now do the mini albums. I do. I'm a trained graphic designer, but I taught fine art to adults for 20 years in South Africa. I had my own studio, and I love mixed media. So things like Finnabear, what Finnabear does, right up my alley.
Very cool. That's lots of fun. So you can bring lots of great things, which is really.
Well, I mean, like when you put forward, like if you want to for Sunday's talks, and it was like from organizing to working with machines. You can see my brother Scan and Cut there. I do it all. So I'm like, I can talk on anything. It's like it's almost a problem. I need to niche down.
But you don't, because that's the fun part about being creative, right? We all, you have all these really cool things in that. So that's the fun part. If you sit down just to play yourself, do you have a particular modality you go to, or you just kind of go with the mood? Like versus when you're teaching?
I like steampunks. I'm known for my steampunk. I designed Lady Vagabond for Stamperia 5 years ago. In fact, it's what's on my wall over here. So steampunk is my go-to aesthetic, whether it is designing, whether it is dressing up. I love steampunk dressing up. If I'm teaching people who've seen me in person in classes, I will always have a steampunk outfit on of some description. So if I'm just designing for me, it will have cogs and gears and grunge and texture and lots of Tim Holtz products.
Very cool. I'd
That's
love
very
to see
neat
when
that
you're
you designed for Stamperia, sorry.
Stamperia.
See, I never say there. I don't know if it's the French in me there, but it just, anyways.
It's like pizzeria, Stamperia.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But that's really neat that you, designer for them. I didn't realize that.
So tell us a little bit about the project you did, a little bit of an overview, and then they have some questions. We've already got questions for you coming through here.
Okay. So this is the project that I'm doing. I love making mini albums. It's and I usually stick to the same size, finished size, just because I like uniformity and continuity. And so that's what my finished album is, 5.5 by 7.5 inches. I'm from South Africa, so we used to work in centimeters, but when scrapbook paper came out, it's all in inches. So I've learned to work in inches. I have got, it's working with the freebie. So if you want to make it yourself, if you sign up to my newsletter, that's where you get the freebie to be able to make this. It doesn't cost you anything. And I teach you how to make this fabric, how to print on fabric. I've got a son, so I didn't use the flowers. I've designed a piece that's in the PDF that has flowers in, so you can use that section if you want to do it more girly. And then it's how to make a flat lay. So what does it mean by flat lay? A lot of albums, when they are on the table, don't lie flat. So it's what's called a hinged spine. And it's the spine that I use for all my journals. So this one is quite little. I have got, let me get my fattest one out. So this is my fattest journal. And I have joined, I think, 4 or 5 spines there together. So you can just keep adding and adding and adding until your book is finished. Because how I like to work for myself, like this book is for me. You might have guessed because of the gears on the cogs. And what I do is I print all my photos. I then make all my pages, and based on how many pages I have is the spine and then the cover. So and this one, even though it is so fat, it will also lie flat. So it will sit properly on your desk. It doesn't do it so well in the air.
It looks beautiful. They all look beautiful. I love the mini albums as somebody, because I am not necessarily a paper crafter. I'm a crafter, and the mini albums really appeal to me because they're kind of and cool gifts. So they're very cool.
Yeah.
Question here. I wonder if this method would work on full-size albums.
It does. It absolutely does. It doesn't matter what size album. When they talk about the method, they mean the flat lay spine. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I would assume so, yeah.
It will, because
Yeah,
I made a 12 by 12 album with it. Yes.
Okay. Easy question. What is the weight of the photo paper you're using?
So I'm using 140 GSM, and I am particularly using the Koala. It's the double-sided matte photo paper. It's not an advert for them. It's just what I use. That is the thinner paper that I use if I am doing covers and things. Then it's the 230 gram or 62 pound.
Excellent. I'm going through questions here, Tracy. So if you have one, jump in.
And sorry, Heather, to say this out loud, but I can't see the feed right now, what people are asking.
I don't know why. I'll do it. I can.
Yeah.
I can't see the questions on my screen either.
That's okay. I'll pop them up.
Yeah.
So, question. Here we go. Question. What are your thoughts on ironing fabric to the fusion fleece and using them as a cover?
I have never done that, but I'm sure it would be good. Sounds good.
I see when I read some of these, I don't know what they're actually asking.
So pop it up. Maybe I'll understand.
Now I'm getting there. There you go. Will this hinge spin work with full-size albums? So that's the same question. Yes. I'm catching up. Mixed media. I'm at the point where they're telling us what they do. So we have mixed media. Hello, I collect really nice paper. There you go. I think this is a classic one for all of you paper crafter lovers, by the way.
You buy
What
three,
do you do? I collect
use
paper.
and one to keep and stroke.
So what are some of your favorite brands?
Stamperia, Prima, Paperwise, Graphic 45. A lot of time though, because I like techniques, I will very often stamp and ink and stencil and make my own papers. For my own projects. Because I'm also a scrapbooker, and South Africans like to scrapbook. We like to do double pages. So, for example, this is one I did of Traditions of My Son. Let's see if we've got no glare. So here I have stamped and stenciled the background.
It's very cute. Your son is
Which
very
is an
popular.
excellent idea. If you can't find the paper that is going to work for you, right?
Yeah.
Make it.
Yeah. And also, I mean, as a designer of pretty paper, I know what it's like. You want to put all the nice, pretty things on the paper, but then as a scrapbooker, as an end user, I want the space for my pictures. So I don't want to cover the pretty paper, but I want to put pictures. It's like, so I make my own paper.
That's an interesting way to hear the designer side of it, right? And
I think that's the thing, because it was an end user, it made a big difference to how I design.
Okay.
It makes sense though, because now that I think of some of the paper I've seen, it's very busy sometimes, and you don't want to cover that. And I mean, I've been fortunate Tracy's been fortunate to let me shop in her store every once in a while when I actually do something. And there's some papers you just don't want to touch. How many people have papers they just don't want to touch? I think that's going to be a lot. I'm going to get to those comments soon, but I think that's going to be a lot where the paper is so pretty. I mean, that's kind of the neat part about some of the stuff that you do where the paper is the star versus the picture being the star. But yeah, we do have 2 presentations in the summit for those watching that talk about making your own background. So we have Shelly, who's, I think she's on tomorrow. She goes through a bunch of different backgrounds. And then we have Joanna, who's a mixed media artist, and she's doing gel. What is it called, Tracy?
Jelly plate printing.
Gel printing, yes. Gel press printing. There we go. And she's a mixed media artist. So we are covering that kind of stuff, which is neat. So thank you for showing us how to print on fabric. Did you keep the paper attached to the fabric after you printed it?
No, I pulled it off.
You pull it off? Can
And then, so because it uses a lot of double-sided tape, I've then shoved another piece of fabric over it for another time when I want to use it. So I didn't just chuck it. You can reuse that piece of paper with the double-sided tape quite a few times.
It's a good trick. It makes sense.
That makes
More
sense.
of I'm a
It
collector
does.
more than a crafter, it seems, as well. This is just for Pear Blossom Plus. They use their lights in their cards because they are so cool. I'm catching up.
Tammy!
Pear Blossom Plus lights are a game changer. Question. And thank you for those who start with the word question because it's easier for me to find them. What glues do you recommend to taking the weight of your albums?
So I find most craft glues are really good, as in the white glue. I'm not brand specific. I have tested a lot of them. I know a lot of people have a lot of, their own favorites. I am tending to use the Nuvo glue that is inside the this because I
Glue
find
press.
that this glue press makes my gluing a lot more accurate. So then, but of course, the press does come with an empty bottle. So if you have a preference, you can put your own glue in it.
Makes sense.
There you
Tracy, do you
go.
have any glue recommendations for that question? Or
I always say the same. Well, I mean, again, at least sorry, Ruth is being specific with the weight of your album. Um, Now, I guess my question is kind of another question as to, is she speaking more about the fabric onto the album, or is she speaking about the album? Like if it's got to do, because I guess I don't use a lot of fabric. Okay.
I think it's just the weight of the
So
album is
Well,
that
I
like
think
have a
like
glue.
even
yeah, she
this
wants,
one, which is a really heavy one, I just used your normal craft glue, and the white glue, what before I knew crafting terms, it was wood glue. Your white glue, your PVA glue, they call it. Depends on where you're from.
and that's true. And even what you just said, like, okay, say if I do a chipboard album, I will use score tape and I will use a white glue as well. Okay, because that allows you to move, the paper and the spine around until you go, that's exactly where I want it. Um, but again, I don't know with the fabric what I would use because I haven't done it. That's plain and simple as that, right?
Something to try.
But it can depend, sorry, Heather, it can also depend where you live.
It also
And that's a
depends
big
on
one.
what I am doing. So this cover is fabric over chipboard, and there I will have used just craft glue underneath. If I am using a rice paper, so for example, this album, this was a rice paper cover, so then I will use a thinner glue like your mixed media glue. It's like a white glue, it's more liquid. So it really depends on what I'm gluing.
That
Yeah,
makes sense. And
that's,
Tracy,
yep.
why does where you live
There's so
matter?
many different types.
Tracy, why does where you live matter?
It's because of the weather. Um, Now, and I've learned some of this from doing some of the Q&As we've done. Like here, I can tell you, in Canada and stuff, I'll go, okay, if you have this brand of glue, like the Nuvo glue that you have, that's one that I say watch out in the winter, and not necessarily using it in your house. That's fine. But if you're bringing it outside, don't leave it in your car. Um, there's some brands like Art Glitter Glue, they won't even ship it to us in the winter because they'll admit it.
A
They're
lot of
being
products are
upfront.
too
Like
expensive.
it cannot be outside in the cold,
Mm.
right?
Or the heat.
Um,
So things like some tape, some even the score tapes or the really expensive red liner tape, they dry out in the heat in South Africa
and
and
see,
they
and that
let go.
exact,
I mean, when I was packing up to come here, I took some of my albums off the shelf and literally the contents just fell out because I'd only put them together with
wow.
liner tape.
Okay, see, and that's I remember somebody else mentioning stuff about glues. This is, I don't know which other summit, but they were south as well. And so they were talking about totally different issues, just like you just mentioned. So yeah, it really depends on, well, a lot
Where
of
you live and what time of the season it is. It makes sense, but it's
And
not
what you
something you
make.
would, what you would think about.
and
Next
then, sorry, Heather,
question.
but also where you're storing your items. Like, let's say you've put your album together, right? Here I'd say, look, are you storing it in the basement? What is the humidity like? Or is it a drier atmosphere, right? Like, you have to think of all of this, and
Mhm.
it's so different for everybody.
Paper, humidity, temp, yeah, all of it affects paper especially. So, I mean, if it's affecting the
Yeah.
paper, it will then affect the substrate, which is the glue.
Mhm.
Yes.
Makes sense. Excellent. How many years have you been crafting? Is a question from Dorothy.
I started in high school. I'm now 50 something. Does that forever?
10
Just
years,
yesterday. Just
right?
yesterday.
All in favor for 10 years?
Yeah, it feels like my whole life. I mean, I have been crafting, making things. I can't think of a time when I wasn't.
Yeah, that's cool though. That's fun. I think that's often true. We start somewhere in something. My mother taught me how to sew when I was in, I don't know, 8 or 10. So there's when I started
I mean,
along.
when I used to go to birthday parties um, or have a birthday party, I'd have to make. So if I was going to a birthday party, I'd have to make the birthday card to go with the gift from
Oh,
little.
very cool.
Mom taught me how to do that. And then when I had my own party, then I would have to make the thank you cards. So yeah, I've been doing it for a long time.
You've probably saved thousands of dollars, which you've now reinvested in other things. But save thousands of dollars. Love the tip to put sticky tape on scoreboard or where to score. So I'm assuming that's from your video. You have a
Oh,
tip.
that's from this.
Okay.
So part of my instructions and one of the things you'll learn in my class, this particular album, because I have a 1/8 gusset, I like a really small gusset because then I can have more pages. I was like, but I, counting and then you miss one and then you're off. So what I do is I put sticky tape on my scoreboard and I mark it first. And then you can, and also from teaching, I then discovered that scoreboards, some go from the left with 0 and some go from the right with 0. So then it doesn't actually matter which scoreboard you've got. I have actually marked it. I happen to have both. Then you can just work it out and do it. And then you can either keep those, but I also make myself a template. So I have that for the next time I want to use it, and I can put my sticky tape up and just mark and then take it off later.
I do remember when I saw your instruction sheet, and I was like, what is that? And then I went, I have to see what she's doing. And I saw the video part, and I was like, it is very smart. Really.
Basically, I'm a lazy crafter. I don't want to have to do things or think things out twice. Like if I'm going to go to all that effort and work it out once, I don't want to have to do it. Next time I can be doing something else.
But they create the best shortcuts that other people go, oh, I never thought of that. So those are great ideas.
Mm-hmm.
We have a question. This is a general one for all of us. I guess, are copyright laws the same for all, or are they different for the US? It depends. So you've got to read the copyright laws. It's generally copyright laws are global, but they are enforced in the country of the owner of the thing. It's copyright. We are not lawyers. We're not even going to go into being a lawyer, but generally speaking, copyright laws are a global thing. It's how they are enforced tends to be in the jurisdiction. I was looking for the right word. In the jurisdiction of the person who owns the copyright. But that doesn't mean you can't be in a legal thing in the US, even though you live in South Africa. So copyright laws are very confusing. And you need to read them if you are putting stuff, and I'm sure you've seen this because you've done design stuff. If you're putting stuff out there, actually, I'm going to do a quick aside here because I learned this from an artist. If you follow an artist tutorial and you do, so for example, somebody's teaching you how to paint a flower. If you do that flower exactly the way you showed it, they actually own the copyright of that. If you take what they taught you and create your own flower, then you own the copyright of that. So copyright laws, when it comes to art, are very confusing. And that's one of the things why you often say, if you're trying to sell something, you have to give attribution if the image, if you're using a reference image or things like that. But yes, that's why Jab's course is a really good thing to look into if you want to start selling, because you've got to understand the different copyright rules. But I never knew that just reproducing an album, then you don't own the copyright of it. So you can't sell that.
Often what they call angel terms, I think it is. So like stamps, for example, some companies allow you to stamp their images and then sell them, for example, at craft markets or whatever. And then the other companies that don't. Angel policy, it's called.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm sure there are many card makers who don't know that and probably sell ones they shouldn't. But yeah, copyright can be very confusing. And so
the obvious one is like if you're using Disney, they're copyrighted, but everybody knows that because, well, it's Disney. Yeah. But just because it's not Disney doesn't mean it's not, you know what I mean? The same rules apply.
Yeah. So the same rules
would apply. You do it if it was Disney? Kind of is the question. Just because it's not Disney, why would you then do it?
Yeah. Yeah. And the same thing applies to artists, and that is just, yeah. So it's one of those, be careful with it. If you're going to sell, you just need to understand what you're doing with copyright. It's even the videos that people are doing here in the training and what we produce, it is all copywritten. And so, yeah, it's a complicated one.
I state with my downloads that people are allowed to use them, like to print them out and use them for classes, for example, because a lot of times companies will insist on you buying a business license for that. And I'm like, well, if you're going to buy my stuff and you're going to be using your printer and your ink, well, that's your choice. But yeah, so I do in my copyright to go with my printables, I do have what you are and aren't allowed to use them for.
And that's something to always consider when you do buy and download printables. When you do it, it's usually a license to use them for your personal use. It's not a license to use them to resell. Even in Canva, you have to have different licenses in that to do it. So it's understanding what they are. Here's another one. I love Tim Horton products, but it's been a long time since I stayed away from creative memories. I'm just now remembering what I liked about the fun techniques. So.
Yeah, Tim, I have been so lucky to actually have been in 4 or 5 of his in-person classes, and his products. I remember he was coming to South Africa for the first time, and I think it was back in 2009. And I put in a scrapbooking chat group, I'm like, who is this Tim Holtz, and should I go to this class? And everybody was like, just go. I've been hooked ever since.
He's very popular. Your question is, how do you choose colors for your albums?
Okay, so because I work from my photographs first, if I'm doing an album for me, I will look at my photographs and work from there. So that is a big way of like helping me to decide what colors to use. Or I will pick a theme. So let's see, I've got a baby album, for example, and I've gone with a whole sort of soft pastel theme, not necessarily baby blues, but just a sort of a neutral palette for that one. Then here's a Christmas one, and again, I've stuck to sort of your basic Christmas colors, but it's more, you'll see, it's more about the photographs. And the paper is just kind of helping to tell the story. If I am, so this one is a, funny that, steampunk. And so then I have chosen to use steampunk paper, but it's not your sort of traditional steampunk paper. My photographs are very brown in general. This was my designs. And so this is what I mean by I take my photographs first and then put my book together, because
that's beautiful.
It depends on what I'm trying to show. So yes, sometimes I'll make my own papers, sometimes I use what goes with the color scheme of the theme.
I was going to ask you a question, but I think what you showed me just answered them. Was, do you lean to complementary colors or what's the opposite to complementary? It was in my head and now I lost it too.
Completely opposite colors. Yeah.
Opposites. I know.
I had the word in my head a minute ago, but it's gone
Well,
away.
it very much depends. So blue, complementary or opposite to blue is orange. So if you want something to pop and stand out, then yes, I would do that. Just trying to think if I've got anything.
I had the word in my head and then it just went out when I asked the question. So there you go.
We all know what you mean.
I know. Complementary or starts with a C. Contrasting.
Yep.
Complementary or contrasting colors. I knew it was in
So
there.
I generally go with maybe complementary. I don't know. So here's another steampunk one with my son. And I've gone with the yellow to pop.
Yeah. But that's a good thing to say, like you use the contrasting colors to pop something and the complementary ones to do that. So that makes sense. Somebody said way back that your album is incredible. So that's the one you taught, I'm sure, or the other one. That was like 15 minutes ago, so I'm catching up.
Yeah. So
somebody says they should make one for their mother.
Yeah.
And they love your flat design.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'll often, like, this is the album, struggling with glare. So my son, every year it started way back, and that's what the first one was that I showed you, the spring tradition. I threw my son in a field of flowers because in South Africa we have spring flowers, like fields of them. It looks like white snow. And then we've continued it here, which is the last one I showed you, where my son is now. We're now doing autumn, so we're keeping to the same time of the year, but I'm now doing autumn leaf photos. And 21, he's still doing it for me.
Very nice. Here's a question for both of you to give a bit of advice. I've been trying to jump into scrapbooking and I'm so intimidated because it's changed. So what would you say if people are intimidated coming back to scrapbooking since 1994?
You do you.
Yeah, that's a very good answer. Like, don't be intimidated. I don't know, I'm trying to think of another example, I guess, I haven't ridden a bike. Is that the past tense? Anyways, haven't been on a bicycle in a while, right? Would I just get on it and do it? Right? Or would I be scared to do it? I don't know if that's a good comparison. I'm just trying to think of, you do it.
Experiment, try, do the new things excite you? Do you want to learn the new things? Are you happy with what you did before? Carry on doing what you did before.
Yeah, true. And that's a good thing. You don't have to get a cutting machine. You don't have to, what we've learned or at least what I've learned in the years that we've been doing this is some people love cutting machines, some people love printing paper, some people love stamps and dies. So it's kind of what you like and play. I think Tracy's answer normally would be just play like a kid. Play and have fun with it. So that makes sense.
You're right, Heather. Like, I guess, sorry, my regular head isn't here right now, but it's true. Put your 4-year-old mind in you and just go, okay, I've got my paper, I've got some pictures and whatever embellishments and stuff. Just put it together and make something. And then you're going, bit after bit, you go, oh, maybe this is more my style, or maybe, I'm going to follow Belinda and these other couple designers, because no offense, some of the other ones, I love what they do, but it's not me, right? You just kind of see who you are and what you like, and you go.
And the thing is, now you have the internet. So when I first started scrapping, it was magazines. You needed to get magazines to get ideas. Now everything is online. I mean, you have Pinterest. Go on Pinterest, put in scrapbooking, and pull and pin what you like, and then work towards that. I mean, it's so easy to find new styles and try new things now.
Yeah, and I think that's very true. I love this comment from Susanna. As my mother's getting older, and scrapbooking is an easy way for her to remember things. So I think this is the perfect kind of gift. It's a perfect kind of gift for anybody in many ways, right? I did once, for those who don't know scrapbooking, and I can't find it, but I did a really mini thing last year for my cousins and my sister-in-law, and they loved it. It was only like just that effort of putting it together and giving it. They're just amazing gifts for people.
And
They're not
Heather,
going to do them first.
just
This
so sorry, the other lady doesn't feel bad. Heather has never scrapbooked before. And did you just hear what she said?
She made
She
mini
made
albums which
some,
I don't have.
we
They're
got
lost
her
in
to
them.
do some little albums, these little fold-out albums. We did.
There you
So
go.
you can do it.
Yes.
Yeah, this I actually did another one for, well, I did another two because I can print this paper myself. My mother-in-law came to visit from Cape Town. My dad still lives in Cape Town as well. So I made two, one for my mom-in-law and one for my dad, and they make beautiful gifts.
They do make wonderful gifts.
Oh.
Somebody says your album is gorgeous. I'm still catching up, but we're still talking about your gorgeous albums. Here's another one. After scoring the paper and you start gluing, when you apply 2 lines of glue on 2 of the folds and you press them down and clip it on, are the 2 with the glue folded into each other?
Yes. Let me get my cheat sheet. So this is what they're talking about. And we have, I don't have my glasses on. I need my glasses to read my own instructions.
Okay.
Oh, I love your glasses.
Fold your cardstock in both directions. Da, da, da. I put the glue on both sides. So because there are 2 sections, so let me find a middle. So I have got, so between there and there, the black line is the peak fold at the top. And then you're going to have that the 2 skinny lines is your gusset. It's a 1/8 gusset. So you are gluing this section, which is your hinge, and this section, which is going to be inside your paper. So yes, you need to put glue on both, and then they get squished together like that. Yeah, like that. Does that make sense?
I think so. Hopefully it does.
But yes, there are 2 wiggles of glue because you are putting, come focus.
Mm-hmm.
You are putting,
Yes.
you will be gluing 2 sections together.
Perfect. Somebody said they love the idea of making their own paper and backgrounds because you used to buy it, but now you can make stuff, which is very cool.
Yep.
So Tamara asked, tell us about your membership. So if you're a VIP, you have generously offered a month or 2, I can't remember, in your membership. Can you tell them a little bit about it?
Okay, so I started, well, earlier, in case you weren't here, I was a designer for Stamperia, and it's the papers next to me. But now what I've started doing is I've got a paid for membership area where every Friday, and in fact this tomorrow, my new line will be released. And so I normally do full sheet of papers, as in full. I work in A4. I know you guys over there work in legal and letter and other stuff.
A4 is very close to 8.5 by 11. It's very close, but
it is very close. And what I also do is because I like the journals that are 5 by 7 because that's my personal preference. So it's what I kind of work with, and it's a size that's easy to print because most people have printers that are small enough or big enough to print that. And so you will have a journal base that you will print, and I design it so that it's double-sided so that you're not gluing papers together. And then there's always the add-ons like the ephemera, the what I call repeat pattern papers. So like most of your scrapbook papers have like a repeat pattern all over them. I design those. So sneak peek for tomorrow. I'm still busy putting them together. So that's tonight's job. But I've put this little album together. And this one even has pockets. So you can have bits that come out. And then because I'm an end user, I like things to tell a story. So this one, and I like anything vintage. So this one is sort of your Victorian sort of vintage feel, where they're having tea in their garden, where you can go and sit and read a book. I don't know. And there's place for you to still add things. So there's a lot of ephemera things, so you can still do pockets. You can, there's so many different ways to use printables.
So if you're a VIP, you have 1 free month in her membership. So if you want to join your membership and you're not a VIP, this is where the price of the VIP pays for itself, right? Because you get access to not only your membership, but there's tons of other things in there. There's actually discounts
in my membership. Like if you sign up now and you enter for the free month, you have access to the last 6 months worth of designs, because I started this 6 months ago. So there's easily $150 worth of product available to you.
And that's just like I said, that's the price of admission for the VIPs. That's why we encourage you to do it. If you like what Belinda has, you can get access to this for a free month, and you can decide to stay with her or not after that. But that's between you and her.
You get the first month free. There's a code in the VIP section. If you don't cancel before the next month on the same date, it will charge you the €15, which is slightly different to dollars, of course.
Yeah. So, but definitely take a look at that if you are in the VIP. If you're not in the VIP,
which is also why you need to put in your credit card details, because I had a lady saying, why, if it's free, do I need to put in credit card details? And I'm like, well, it's a paid for membership area. It can't be accessed without it.
I was going to say, because that's how technology works. Some of the answers to these ones is not possible to do it that way.
Out of my control.
Yeah, it's how these systems work that we all use. Ours is the same. People who join our free membership, which is part of our VIP as well, you're going to put in your credit cards even though you get the month free, because that's how these systems work when it comes to that kind of thing. Okay, we got to keep ourselves going because we have another one at 1 o'clock. So would putting a ribbon on this be a good idea to keep it closed when it's thick?
You can. So I have got a few ribbon ideas. So this one, I have put a buckle around my one, and it does up. This one, my really fat belly, I've got the little, I don't know what you call these things. It's like a little knob, like almost like a mini door handle, and I've just used an eyelet through some leather. You can use traditional ribbons. This one I've got ribbons with an extra ribbon. It does. I do find that ribbons do this, like it's getting knotted and irritating. So I do prefer, personally, not to do ribbons so much as like a buckle or some sort of closure.
Makes sense.
That makes sense.
Somebody had to downsize their craft room and donate paper away, and it made them sad.
Yes. I hope you stroked it.
I'm catching up here. I'm terrible. I'm getting there. I don't know what we're into the paper question. So this we can ask later. So somebody's asking about washi tape, but we can talk about that join us on Sunday. We have someone who is a washi tape creator, so she can give you a huge amount of ideas. Somebody asked, where do you find the instruction for the mini album? You go on Belinda's page. If you just scroll down a little bit under the video, it has a button for you to click that says download instructions. If you're a VIP, it's in your VIP area. Download them today, because once 24 hours are up, they go away on the free sites, but you can continue to get them in the VIP for at least a year. Maybe we've done this one. So how do I keep my foam tape from showing in my shakers?
Carefully. You have to put it, so it depends. Sometimes I use black foam tape because it's less visible than white, and set it slightly back from your edge. So if you've got a circle, for example, just set it like a hairline further back.
Mm-hmm. Next bigger question. I'll let you read this one because you get it, and then I'll keep moving on to the next one.
Just scoring the paper and you start gluing. When do you apply 2 lines of glue on the 2 folds and you press them down and clip it? Are there 2 with the glue folding into each other? Oh, we did answer this question.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm catching up. Tell us more about your membership. We just did that. I'm catching up on all these comments. It's kind of like...
Sorry, Heather. I'd help you. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, I can't see any.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Because I clicked on the chat and it disappeared.
I don't know why it's doing that. Things happen.
Yeah.
Here we go. This one's... we have not asked this one. I don't have a scoring board. Can the albums be made without one?
Absolutely. You can just... Do you have a little ball tool, something like this? Or even a pokey tool? If you are incredibly accurate and you mark, you know, all the measurements along the top with your ruler and then again at the bottom, and you line your ruler up and you score it, absolutely you can.
Excellent. There you go. Joyce said, so sad she's missing the rest of this, so she's probably not here anymore, but you can watch the replay. Adorable. He said, obtain class in the roof of the project. Not sure this one. You said, obtain the class information for all the projects needed to do is my email address. Where do I do this? Yeah, so you have to put your credit card in because that is the way it works, as we just said.
No, not for this class.
No.
So for this class is here today.
Yes.
It's loaded for free, just for 24 hours.
Yeah, it's in our VIP. It's in, if
you're
not
VIP forever until whenever. But if you're a VIP and you want to sign up for the free membership, that's where it's a membership. It's not a class.
Yes. Question, do you journal on your pages?
I don't journal on these pages. I have a whole nother set of books for journaling.
It's a good answer. I'm getting to the end of this because we do have another call in 12 minutes. So we're getting to the end of this. What size is the small photo book? Somebody said mini album 5.5 by 7.5.
So the pages are 5 by 7, and I've done my cover 5.5 by 7.5. It's because I have them all sitting on a shelf, and I'm OCD like that. They must all be the same height.
This is an interesting... Susan's giving us tricky questions. If you could be any craft supply, which one would you want to be and why?
Distress ink.
Oh, there you go. She knew that one.
And why? Because it can do so much.
So someone's asking, how do I gain access to today's project? You have to be signed on for the free ticket. So if you don't have a free ticket, go to scrapbookingfunsummit.com and sign up. If you've signed up, you would have got an email day one giving you all of the instructions to do that. Or if you signed up after 10 o'clock this morning, you would have gotten a welcome email. Just hit the welcome page and you will have the details on how to watch anything. If you're not signed up, you will not get anything. You have to sign up to the summit to get it. If you're a VIP, they're in your VIP area. We've talked about where do you get your papers. Talked about that one. I'm getting there. I hit the end. There you go. No more questions. It's like scroll through. So thank you for all of your, if you have any other questions, we got a couple more minutes left if they come in, but thank you for all of your beautiful albums. They're just gorgeous. And thank you for being, so Belinda is one of our new people to our summits who hasn't done them before. And she's been a beautiful addition. Love the mini albums. If I was going to get in paper crafting, that's where I would go, towards mini albums.
Not if, Heather.
When.
It
doesn't help that I have a store that's just 10 minutes away if I, to shop.
I like to do both. So a scrapbook page can only hold so many photographs, whereas a mini album can tell a whole story. So like for a whole event.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I do both.
That makes sense. I like that way of positioning it. Yeah, it's a very nice.
So most of these mini albums that I've got on my desk are for events. Like this was when Finnabear came to South Africa. So that's another fat one. Mm-hmm. And I've decorated it using her stamps and fabrics and things. And it's all about the event and what we did and so on.
Cool. I like that. I like that distinction, because one thing that we've talked about, Tracy and I, is that the distinction between scrapbooking and card makers. Card makers are going for the future because they want to send it to something happening, and scrapbookers are trying to capture the past, right? But I like your kind of distinction of a mini album can tell a story, which is a very cute way of doing it.
Yeah, so like a specific Christmas, a specific event, a specific happening, family gathering. Yeah.
So one last question before we go. Hopefully it's a quick one, because I did see it earlier and I missed it. Do you use texture paper in your album, and do you find they leave an impression on the opposite page?
So not often. It's texture paste.
Sorry.
I use it mostly on my covers. So quite often, like this one is a very dimensional cover. I mean, it's got beads and textures and pastes and all sorts. I do it on my scrapbooks and things. But there you're putting two different pieces of paper together in a sleeve. Generally, no, not in my mini albums.
Okay.
There's
Excellent.
nothing stopping you. It's, yeah.
That is excellent. Thank you so much. We have to jump off to get on to the next one because our poor next person will be sitting in a room going, where are they? Thank you so much. We will be back in less than 10 minutes with Elena. And thank you so much for joining us in this summit, Belinda.
Yes.
You've been a beautiful addition to the summit. Love your albums. Love your energy. Thank you for bringing another person from another country into this. So
thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
And I'll see the VIPs on Sunday.
Yes. So if you're a VIP and you want to do more into mini albums and talk about, Belinda's going to be doing our panels. Panels are new this year that we're doing. So we have 4 panels for the VIPs where you can come one-on-one in a Zoom room. So you won't be typing messages. You can unmute. You can submit messages in advance. Belinda will be there with some other people to chat about scrapbooking and mini albums. So come have fun with us. I can't remember what time it is on that. I think it's at noon. 11,
it's
4?
11.
4.
Sunday?
As a VIP, it's in your email. So that's another reason to buy the VIP. If you want to come in and join us in a Zoom room to do our panels, come and chat with us. It's something we've just introduced this year. So thank you, everybody. And we already have somebody saying we'll see you Sunday. So thanks so much. And we will be back in a few minutes.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.